I found 13 easy typing jobs that you can do online. And these aren't gonna just be the typical ones that you always hear, like transcription or data entry. I'm actually gonna give you a bunch of really good options that you've probably never heard of before. And my team and I do a ton of research on each and every one of these videos. Usually we put over 100 hours into each video. And if you appreciate all of our hard work to make sure we give you the best possible information, go ahead and gently tap that like button. And let's get started with number one on the list, which is going to be a remote intake specialist. And remote intake specialists work in a lot of different industries, and one of the most common ones is going to be healthcare. And what they would be doing in this situation is they'd be taking things like demographics, patient information, insurance details, medical histories, consent forms, financial records, insurance records, and recording all of it in order to facilitate the billing process. And so you'd either be talking to someone on the phone, or in some cases you would be emailing back and forth with them and making sure that the company has all the proper information. And this is a job where you'd make about $41,000 to $65,000 a year. And that's pretty good considering it is an entry-level job that typically does not require a college degree or previous experience. In some cases, it may require certification or training, but typically the company themselves will offer that. Here are some opportunities. I'll put them up on the screen. You can pause the video and check those out if you'd like. And overall, when it comes to typing jobs, I'm gonna give this one an 8.5 out of 10 opportunity score. Next is going to be a patient account representative. And you might be noticing a little bit of a trend here. There are a lot of medical related typing jobs that actually pay pretty well. They're also relatively easy to get into. And that's something that I talk about a lot on this channel. There's tons of super random niche medical careers that are really easy to get into. They're extremely stable and they pay relatively well. And basically what you're going to be doing in this job is you are going to be an expert at medical billing. So you're going to be paying attention to different patient accounts and make sure that the billing is set up and you're on the same page with the insurance company. So I'll go ahead and put up some opportunities on the screen. You can check them out if you'd like. And you're going to be working directly with the patient to answer questions, resolve issues regarding billing and collection, communicate with the insurance company, and inquire about claims. And in this role, you'd make about $42,000 to $58,000 a year. And again, this is another one, very easy to get into, does not require a college degree or previous experience usually, and it's relatively stable and it pays relatively well. So is this something you're going to do for the rest of your life? Probably not, but there's also room for growth. You can move up to higher level positions that pay even better. And for the most part, the only skills you have to get started are typing and communication. So when it comes to typing jobs, I'm going to give this one an 8.5 out of 10 opportunity score. Next is going to be an appointment setter. So this is actually a really good career and it's called different things in different industries. So for instance, in the technology B2B industry, this is going to be called a business development representative. But basically what you're doing is you're probably going to be working for a company that sells high ticket products and services. So these are products and services that are going to be thousands of dollars at least. And you are going to be finding and screening potential clients, right? So you're going to be making sure that they are a potential client and they're actually a good lead. So things like making sure that they have enough money, making sure that they're actually a good fit for your product or service. And then once you've made sure that they are a good client, you go ahead and you send them to the closer. And this is the person who's responsible for actually negotiating the contract and closing it. Now, there are many different types of appointment setters. Some of them actually do outbound, like cold calling. And of course, that wouldn't be the option that I would go for in this video because these are typing jobs, but there's many different types of chat related appointment setters. So for instance, there's lots of different people who sell high ticket products on Instagram. And as an appointment setter, you might be the person who just takes inbound people who are trying to chat with the account, right? So maybe people have a question about the product or service and you answer those questions. You make sure that it's a good fit for them. And if it is, you send them to the closer. And I'll have some of them pop up on the screen right now so you can check them out. And appointment setters make about $45,000 to $70,000 a year. And a lot of the time they'll make a base pay and then they'll also get a percentage on top of every single person who ends up closing, right? So every single person who ends up actually buying the product, you will actually get a percentage of that. So in many cases, you actually do get commission. And this usually ranges from 3 to 8% of the total sales price. So overall, this one is really good. There's lots of opportunities for appointment setters over email, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, etc. So when it comes to typing jobs, I'm going to go ahead and give this one a 9 out of 10 opportunity score. Next is going to be a caption editor. And this is basically where you're going to be listening to videos and then crafting text-based closed captions for the video. And this is going to be for people who are hearing impaired or people who just prefer to read instead of listen. And caption editors make $41,000 to $63,000 a year. So basically, you just have to be a good typer, right? You have to type relatively relatively fast. You also have to have great grammar and attention to detail. And I'll be honest with you, this is probably not something that you want to do for the rest of your life. It is relatively mind-numbing work, but it is something where you can make some extra money. So I'll give it a 6 out of 10 opportunity score. Here are some opportunities. I'll put them up on the screen. Next is going to be a technical support advisor that helps people over email or chat. So you're going to be the person that a customer, or in some cases, even an employee, is going to come to whenever they have some kind of technical support issue. And you can talk with people over chat or email in many cases to get it resolved. Now, this is a super easy job to get into, and basically all you need to have is you need to be someone who's good with technology, right? You need to be a tech whiz. And there's a lot of people out there that have just been working with computers since they were kids, and so they're just automatically pretty good at technology. You don't need to have a college degree or previous experience or anything like that. Not even any certifications are necessary. Here is a good job opportunity. I'll put it up on the screen. And for this one, you can make about $36,000 to $53,000 a year. And one great thing about this is it's actually a gateway to a lot of other careers that are even better. So basically, it's just a good idea to be able to get your foot in the door when it comes to the technology industry. Get any job you can, even if it's a customer service job. And then there's going to be opportunities for you to level up and make more money, because the tech industry has probably more opportunity than any other industry out there. And by the way, if you want to get into the technology industry, one of the easiest jobs that you can get that's also extremely high paying is going into tech sales. And this would be becoming a business development representative. And I've interviewed a bunch of people on this channel that have gotten into tech sales in very short periods of time. And some of them have even been able to make over $70, $80, $90, or $100,000 a year within their first year. And they've all done this through a company called Course Careers. And Course Careers has a free training that will tell you everything that you could possibly need to know about tech sales, which I'll put down in the description as well as the pinned comment below. So overall, this one is pretty good. I will go ahead and give it a 9 out of 10 opportunity score. Next is a content moderator. And this is basically where you watch videos or you look at pictures that are posted on different social media platforms or search engines, and then you basically just see if they meet the community guidelines. And if they don't, you'll basically delete the video, and then you'll kind of type out why you deleted the video, and that's about it. It's pretty simple. In some cases, you may also be employed by some type of membership site or group, for instance, being a moderator of a Discord chat, and it would be a very similar process in that case as well. Now here is where you can apply for some jobs. I'll put it up on the screen. You can pause the video and check it out if you'd like. And content moderators make about $46,000 to $81,000 a year. Now I will kind of put a disclaimer here. There's some types of content moderation jobs where you're going to be forced to watch disturbing videos. And so you either want to avoid those types of content moderation jobs or just be wary and make sure you ask questions. But with that being said, a lot of them are just making sure that people, aren't being absolute idiots on the internet. So overall, this one is okay. I'll give it an opportunity score of 6.5 out of 10. All right, so next I am going to briefly cover transcription because it is one of the most common typing jobs. There's two websites that I think are pretty good, and those are CrowdSurfWork and Casting Words. And I think everybody knows what this is. They listen to some type of audio and then they transcribe it into the written word. You have to have very good English and grammar skills.
English, do you speak it? Yes.
You have to be a fast typer, and you have to have great attention to detail so you don't make mistakes. So I will put the exact link that you should go to up on the screen right now. Now, again, I did a lot of research on this to make sure these websites are legit. On CrowdSurf, you make $18 to $28 an hour. On Casting Words, you make $17 to $26 an hour. Okay, so these are much better than the average transcriptionist websites. There's been people who have kind of like tried some of the more common ones, and they'll end up making like $5 an hour or $8 an hour or something like that. So yeah, this one is okay. Kind of like what I mentioned before, this is probably not something you want to do for the rest of your life. It is relatively boring and tedious and monotonous, but it can be an option for people maybe for a few years. So I'll give it a 7.5 out of 10 opportunity score. Next is a tax preparer. And this is basically someone who prepares the final details of taxes. So believe it or not, you don't have to be an accountant. You basically just take the accountant's work and you clean it up. You do the busy work, the easy work that they don't have time to do, because they're experts that are making sure that they are tax compliant and they're making sure that they're saving the customer as much money as possible. So here are some jobs. I'll put them up on the screen. You can check them out if you'd like. And in this position, you'd make $38,000 to $57,000 a year. So yeah, relatively easy job. Doesn't require much more than just being able to type and do basic math. I'll give this one an opportunity score of 8 out of 10. Next, let's talk about another one that a lot of different different people talk about, and that is going to be a junior data entry clerk. So I'll just go over this one really quickly because you've probably heard of it a million times. You literally take data from point A and you put it into a different form in point B, right? So you might be taking data that you read from the internet and then putting it into an Excel sheet. So an example of this would be looking up a bunch of different tanning salons in a certain area, putting their information into an Excel sheet so it's easy for somebody else to go ahead and email them or call them. Now, it is best to specialize if you're going to do this. So it's really good to be, for instance, a lead generation data entry specialist. And that requires a little bit of specialized skills, but for the most part, it's kind of common sense. You would basically figure out which ones of these companies would be good potential leads for the company that you're working for. And as much as they try to have AI automate this kind of thing, there's still tons and tons of opportunities for data entry clerks, because at the end of the day, you have to have a human being that looks at the data and cleans it up. And data entry clerks make about $34,000 to $48,000 a year. And here is a job opportunity, which I'll put up on the screen. So this is an okay one, probably not something you want to do for the rest of your life. Can be good for a few years though. I'll give it a 7 out of 10 opportunity score. Next is going to be chat support. And this is basically customer support, but you only do it through chat. Now, this is actually becoming more and more popular because more and more consumers are expecting to have this, because let's be honest, it can be a huge pain in the ass to call customer support. A lot of the time you have to wait. A lot of the time it's really annoying. You have to give your information like 3 different times. You get transferred to a bunch of different departments. It just really sucks in many cases. However, chat support in many cases can be a lot better, especially if you're just trying to get a very simple question answered. And so more and more companies, to keep their customers happy, are starting to do chat support. And chat support agents make about $34,000 to $57,000 a year. So lots of opportunities here. I'll put some of the jobs up on the screen so you can check them out. And again, it's another one, does not require a college degree or previous experience, relatively easy to get into. Now, the interesting thing here is there's these kind of hybrid roles now where they might be a chat support specialist, but they're actually secretly kind of a salesperson or kind of like an appointment setter, right? So certain people might come to them with technical issues and they're still like chat support. They're trying to solve their technical issues, but they might also have another paid solution on top of that. So you see some of these kind of hybrid positions where it's kind of like appointment setter slash salesperson, but it's called like a chat support specialist. And in those positions, you can make a lot more money. And you're going to be getting completely inbound leads as well. But overall, this one, I think a lot of people know about it. I'm going to give it a 7.5 out of 10 opportunity score. Next is going to be a remote research assistant. And this is basically where you're going to be assisting a researcher, and you're going to be doing this by researching data sources, documenting issues, and creating engaging content for various projects. And research assistants make about $42,000 to $70,000 a year. Now, this is another one where you want to niche down and specialize. So you would not want to be like a generalist research assistant. You would want to be a research assistant in something that you're either really good at, really passionate about, or something you can just make a lot of money from. And it all really depends on what you're after, right? What is your goal? And I'll have some of them pop up on the screen right now so you can check them out. But overall, this one doesn't require much more than just being able to type and research. And if you're somebody who's really good at finding answers to questions online, this could be a really good option for you. So I'm going to go ahead and give this one an 8 out of 10 opportunity score. By the way, if you're enjoying this video and you think of somebody else who might also enjoy it, go ahead and share this video with them in order to help them out. Next is going to be a remote order processor. And basically what you're going to be doing is you're going to be working behind the scenes. You're going to be doing accurate data entry, tracking orders, and making sure that customers are happy. So this might be something like making sure that a large package gets to the right place at the right time, and basically just making sure that the information that was entered is accurate. And they work in a variety of different industries such as retail, food service, and manufacturing. And order processors make about $35,000 to $50,000 a year. Here are some opportunities. I'll put them up on the screen. You can pause the video and check those out if you'd like. So this is kind of like a data entry job, but basically you have to get things in fast, right? So when an order is submitted, you want to make sure that it's actually completed and finalized as quickly as possible. And they focus more on speed rather than how much work you get done, right? So in many cases, you might kind of like be waiting for an order to be transmitted. So overall, another pretty good one, relatively closely related to data entry. I'm going to give it a 7.5 out of 10 opportunity score. Next is going to be a document scanning or indexing specialist. And this is going to be someone who scans documents, stores them, organizes them and makes sure that they're easily accessible to other people who are searching for them, right? So you'd be putting certain keywords that people might search if they're trying to find that document, and you'd just be making sure that it's easily searchable in general. So when somebody is searching an archive of different documents, they're going to be able to easily find it. And not only will they be able to easily find it, but they'll also be able to find the piece of information that they're searching for inside of the document as well. So an example of this would be people who kind of index like newspaper articles. But there's lots of other examples of document indexing, and document indexers make about $43,000 to $64,000 a year. Now this requires a little bit more than just kind of mindlessly typing things. You have to kind of think like, okay, what are people going to type if they're searching for this? And that's why you see this one pays a little bit more than just, data entry job or transcription jobs, but it also involves a lot of quality control. For instance, if you're indexing an old newspaper and there's some kind of like ink blot, then you're gonna have to go in and manually type that thing. Or if for whatever reason it can't read somebody's handwriting, you might have to go in and manually type that. And I'll have some of them pop up on the screen right now so you can check them out. But yeah, overall, this one is pretty good. A lot of opportunity here. I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10 opportunity score. Now I did make another video that went semi-viral about even more data entry jobs that you might enjoy, and you can check that out by clicking right here.